Greetings, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be on this Monday, January the 12th, 2026. A world on fire, craziness all around us, and yet we find peace, solitude, connection, and meaningful work on a daily basis, choosing to do what we can do, what is within our control, and doing our best to let go of the rest. How are you today? I hope I find you in a relative place of serenity. Even if there are other challenges that you're facing, I know that's really the reality of life, is that there's always something going. There's never like a perfect moment when everything is just absolutely, there's just nothing to worry about, you know. So, yeah, I had a pretty good weekend, actually. A lot of social connection. Went to the gym twice, and almost 3 months now out of surgery, and I'm just feeling as good as I felt in a long time as far as that goes. Strength is back. Doing deadlifts that are pretty significant. So the muscles are there, and then the eating discipline. Just taking note, I have an aggressive goal. I want to lose 40 pounds this year. I've done this before, and I've done this the natural way. I had a doctor recently who said, if you want to cheat, he said, if you want to cheat, and I quote, cheat, there's some options for you. And I thought, well, first of all, if it's cheating, that's the reason not to do it. These new drugs are amazing, and I think they're great for the right circumstances and the right people who aren't cheating. They're doing it because it is necessary for them in order to get healthy, to a healthy weight. And so, first of all, I don't want to judge others who are doing it as cheating. And number one, I don't want to do it on the premise that I'm cheating. So while I'll never rule it out, while I still have the ability to move the needle, as it were, in the right direction on a daily basis through choices about what I eat and my exercise regimen, mostly about what I eat, though, I'm going to give that a shot until and unless it proves that I'm unable to do that. I will say it is getting harder the older I get. That is true. You hear that? And it's definitely more stubborn. And so that's every reason to do something about it. So that's it. I've outed myself 40 pounds this year, roughly, 18 kilos. Actually, a little less than on the kilos, but about that. 16 to 18 kilos and 40 pounds is the general range that I'm looking to drop in terms of fat. And I think that will be an excellent achievement. And it's going to happen. But I am noticing that I will make some progress, and then my mind will go, oh, okay. You've made some progress, so, you can let off the gas, and that is not where it's at. So just putting a marker down there. What is it that you do that you abandon after you make a little progress? And I will say, I haven't made pancakes in a while, but we have a tradition on Sundays. We like to make pancakes. Well, I make the pancakes, and my wife gets extra lovey-dovey about it. So she's always grateful. And so Sunday mornings, that's kind of a semi-tradition in our household. And I found myself just, because I've been eating much higher levels of protein and vegetables, of course, but I ate 2 pancakes, 2.5 roughly, and that's less than I would have eaten prior. And I was done. I was satiated. That was enough. And I had eggs, and I had some other protein. And so felt really good about that, just watching how my brain works in terms of the obsession or the cravings or the desire, if you will, to eat more than I really actually need. And that's always been a struggle for me. It's not for everybody, but it is for a lot of us. And so I'm seeing signs of relative health there. That's always a good leading indicator. What else is going on? It's cold. I'm not even going to talk about the weather much, other than it's been cold. Although yesterday, man, it was like in the upper 40s, and I thought we took a walk for about an hour down to our gym, and it was glorious. It just felt like it was almost a spring day when it was done in the relative dead of winter. It felt like a spring day. Wore a minor puffy coat, a moderately puffy coat. Those of you who listen to this show know that my disdain for puffy coats, but it was just felt so good to have the sun beating down on us, and it was not, that frigid biting cold at all. So, but we've got more weeks to go, and it is what it is, and it'll be over before you know it, and then it'll be boiling. Hopefully there'll be a little spring in the middle there too. That'll be nice. But in terms of what I'm looking at this week, where I'm now at that phase where I've had a fast start to a new business, Amped. And if you're wondering where all this stuff lives, it's at mattstone.co. Mattstone.co. That's a landing page. It takes you to my show, and it also takes you to my services business called Amped. And we had a fast start. Got some early couple of clients and did a bunch of free work as well. But still, it's my goals now are the number of people that I'm helping. So I got a really fast start in December and into the very beginning of January. And much like progress around eating, around any other goal, I always find this lull after the initial sugar high of the beginning it wears off. And that is where the real rubber meets the road. That's where some time goes by and you don't see progress in a way that you recognize it, or, you start doubting again, because part of the sugar high is, oh my God, this is great. It's blowing up. Everything's fine. I don't have to worry anymore. And then life gives you reason to worry again, even though you've got all this evidence that, hey, you're doing well. Keep going. Keep plowing away. There's going to be seasons where you don't see tangibly the results of your labor, but all the other signs are there. And that's where I'm at right now, is my mind going into an old pattern of, questioning again. And I'm catching that and going, okay, that's nonsense. So look, these struggles are real. I wish I didn't have them. I know, hey, everyone's different. Maybe you don't have these. I do. I've had them a long time. There's reasons for them. And just still working on improving my mindset to be more, consistent over a longer period of time and not sabotage me. But it is a real struggle. I'm not going to lie. I have days where I just really... Now, one of the things that I do with my anxiety-ridden brain is I have gotten in a habit. I laugh because my grandfather did this for years, and we always laughed at him for doing it. And here I am. He would always go to bed with an earpiece in his ear, and he would listen to like National Public Radio, which, I mean, if you want to go to sleep, the monotone, the classic monotone voice of an NPR announcer, and the kind of soothing music that they put in the show. I mean, it really is conducive to kind of falling asleep. And so I have, sometimes where we live, it's pretty quiet, but I mean, we're in a very urban area, and you can hear the road out there sometimes, and sometimes it's quite loud. But for various other reasons, I've gotten in the habit of an earpiece, and I listen to these podcasts and things, and I don't, they really kind of just lull me to sleep. So I had an earpiece and I fell asleep straight away. I was so tired last night, and I woke up at like 4 a.m, and there was an episode of a business podcast playing in my ear, and this guest who, I got to be honest with you, I mean, it was just awful. I mean, her tone, I thought it was a dream. And I thought, oh my God, I'm listening to the world's most obnoxious podcast. And then I woke up a little bit more and realized, no, I'm listening to an actual episode. And listen, the whole thing was, her substance was pretty good, but she had the attitude of nobody else gets it, only I get it. Like she used the word actually a lot, and was just kind of addressing the host's good questions with a response that essentially said, we know what we're doing. And not essentially, she explicitly kept making comments about how we actually know what we're doing. And the implication was, we're great and others aren't. Now, here's the thing about that. I've been there. I've even said some of those obnoxious things. But what I note about it is that people who go out of their way to be subtly or not so subtly denigrating towards others out there frequently, it in my experience always comes from a place of deep insecurity. And so what you're actually conveying is, I think, I'm worried I might not be seen as good enough, so I'm going to go heavy-handed about how great we are and how terrible everyone else is. It could get written off as just ego, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's actually the opposite of it. So I'm just going to be really mindful of that, because there is a lot of room for all of us. No one's got the right answer. And I think AI is going to make that even more so. You know, we all have access to these tools, and you can reach a moderate level of kind of consistency, if not mediocrity, but it's a high mediocrity of producing writing and things like that. But the differentiator is going to be how well you use tools, and of course your creativity and your humanity. And so I don't exist in a vacuum. And you can have 10 consultants, each in the same lane, and each of those 10 could have clients that will benefit from each of them more than the others, just because of the personality fit, the values fit, the chemistry. Who knows? We all have a role to help certain types of people and probably not other types of people. And I just... listening to this person, and I thought, wow, you know, you do have a lot of substantive points, but if I had to turn it off in order to sleep again, because it was so jarring to listen to sort of the implication that basically they had it. And I you know, when I just think about how many billions of people there are in the world, and whenever I meet someone who is kind of giving the attitude that only they know the answer, only they can fix it, only they've got it and no one else understands the reality, I just kind of laugh. Well, you know, 6-7 billion. I mean, how many people? There's how many billions of people in the world? Only you? You're the chosen one who figured it all out? I mean, we're all just trying to learn as we go, and we're all error prone, and so I don't know. I just think radical humility is what I aspire to, and maybe talking about it makes me less radically humble, but I do want to look out for that in myself, because I certainly am capable in my weaker moments or my moments of more insecurity to come across as that too. So it was just a good lesson. So I'll be watching that and just being in a service mindset this week. I think that'll set me up for success. What do you need to do to set yourself up for success this week? What's the mindset that's going to work for you? I guess that's the question for today. In the meantime, I hope you have a great rest of your day, wherever you are, whatever time it is. We'll check back again tomorrow. Be good to yourself and others, and thanks as always for listening. Bye-bye for now.